Most leaders don't fail because they lack strategy. They fail because they refuse to face one thing about themselves. And the scary part, your team already feels it, even if nobody says it out loud. This week, Authentic Encounters Lena Speaks. The episode is called You Can't Lead Others Until You Face This About Yourself. I'm sitting down with Jennifer Emmons, CEO of Family Health Centers in Vincennes, Indiana. We'll talk about what leadership really costs, the hard shift from doing the work to being the leader, delegation when you like control, communication when your style isn't their style, and finally, why respect is the non negotiable that keeps culture from collapsing. If you're serious about leading without losing yourself or your people, this episode is for you. Watch now, listen now, and then tell me in the comments what's one thing you had to face about yourself before you could lead better. I'm super excited to invite Jennifer Emmons to our podcast today. She's going to share a little bit more about herself, and then we're going to hop right into today's content.
All right. Thank you, Lena, for having me on your podcast.
Yes.
My name is Jennifer Emmons. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at the Family Health Center in Vincennes, Indiana. I had the privilege of working with Lena over the past year, and we did some leadership trainings for our leadership team where we learned a lot about personalities, self awareness, conflict management. That's really helped strengthen our team. So I'm very happy to be here with you today.
Yes, yes. And so, Jennifer, you are a CEO, a strong leader. I really appreciated working with your organization. I don't take every organization because not everybody's serious. You are a serious leader, and there's a history about, how you've come to be in the current role that you're in. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I actually am celebrating my 30-year anniversary this month as a healthcare manager and someone in
Awesome.
an administrative leadership role. I actually went to nursing school, graduated in 1992, 34 years ago. Took a role as in a quality department, had a wonderful supervisor who got a promotion to a director, and that allowed me to step into her manager role.
Okay.
And I didn't really think too much about it at the time of what kind of supervisor she was. But when I went back and really thought, she was someone who managed her team well. She empowered us to make decisions. She listened to us. And she really just supported us to become a better team. And I really appreciated that out of her. And I always say kudos to the amazing mentors I've had in my leadership journey because it's made me a lot stronger person today.
Awesome. And that feeds really right into today's topic, which is called You Can't Lead Others Until You Face This About Yourself. So
Hmm.
that's kind of a deep topic. And I know you
Hmm.
were kind of joking with me a little bit
Yeah.
about the questions and things about that. But, this is why we're here on Authentic Encounters. We want to do that deeper work. And so I was really pleased that you said yes, because I have a lot of respect for you and the position that you hold. But I also know that our viewers need to know what it takes to be in that level of leadership, because leadership isn't cheap. It's expensive. You pay a price, right? So
Hmm.
your self-awareness often becomes clear in hindsight.
Hmm.
Hindsight. When you look back over your leadership journey, what was the first internal realization you had that fundamentally changed how you led others?
I think it really went back to just what I was telling you a while ago on that first leader that really mentored me. And I found that she was real with us. She
Hmm.
let us make decisions and changes that really didn't help her. I mean, it wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't making her more productive and more efficient, but it was making the workflow better for her
Yeah.
employees, and it really gave a lot of ownership. We were more engaged in the organization. We had a lot more ownership and a lot more buy-in, and I think I didn't even realize it at the time, but looking back, that's kind of the hindsight
Hmm.
of how much I was really being taught when I really didn't even know I was being taught good leadership skills.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good. Um, What did you have to confront about yourself? Like, what was one of the most painful but insightful, right? Painful yet insightful lessons you had to learn about yourself as you grew as a leader?
I think sometimes I think you said it at the beginning that we pay a price,
Yeah.
and you do pay a price because you're one of the team, but you're not one of the team. You kind of sit outside your team sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's something you may not realize when I've took leadership roles when I've been more of a team member and now I'm the leader, and that's a hard transition to do.
Mhm.
I know we were going to talk a little bit about going from doing leadership to
Yes.
being the leader.
Yes.
And that's not easy. Like, that's hard to do
What
that.
was so hard for you? What was the thing that you knew like, "Man, this is hard. Now I know I'm at a different, skill set, skill level,
hmm
and level of integrity in as far as leadership." What was that for you?
I think I had to, first of all, I had to get past because I'd worked in nursing clinical roles before.
Okay.
And you have a list of priorities, you have tasks, you have a list of patients to do. I have a tendency to work faster than some people. So
Okay.
I have to remember sometime to slow that down.
Mhm.
Um, and it's a sense of accomplishment when you have task that you can check a box.
Yeah.
And sometimes in leadership, we don't have that nice little checklist of checking boxes and tasks that we do.
Yes.
So I think you have to just realize that. And
Mhm.
my biggest struggle, and even today, is finding out the art of delegation.
Okay.
I have a little bit of control issues sometimes, and I don't like to delegate.
Mhm.
Sometimes things don't get done as quickly as I want them done,
Yes.
but I have learned that if it's not going to be the same style, it's not going to be the same process, but if they get from point A to point B and it doesn't impact outcomes, then
Yeah.
that's okay. And I have to learn to accept that.
That's good. So, talk to me like more day to day with your specific leadership team. It's one thing you're CEO of a whole organization. It's
Mhm.
another thing where you have those people that are a little bit closer to you who sit on your leadership team, your executive leadership team. How do you think about them in terms of not just their role and their function, but how you multiply and shape leadership within them? What is your mindset about that when you look at them each day and try to pinpoint what they need as leaders?
I think it's important. First of all, we do have regular meetings, so we're constantly
Good.
talking and discussing. I can't just assume that I know what they need.
Yes.
Just like they can't assume because they're leading their directors, who's leading
Mhm.
managers, who's leading supervisors. And
Right.
I have to make sure that they know what my goals are and
Yeah.
what my expectations are. I think one of the worst things we can do is not have clear expectations.
Correct.
That's the first thing you have to do. I
Mhm.
think we've all been blindsided by that before and
Yes.
probably called out from time to time because someone didn't do something, we didn't do something that someone asked us to do. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that's what you were expecting.
Mhm.
So just, we have to communicate.
Yes. And so clear expectations is good. What has been your greatest hurdle in communication? So I understand clear expectations,
hmm
but we all have a preference, a preferred style in communicating, but
hmm
then sometimes that butts up against somebody else's expectation.
Right.
One of the quotes I love saying all the time is, uh, there's an illusion about communication that it took place. So many
Mhm.
times people think, didn't I just say that? And they walk out the room and people are like still clueless. So, what are some of the challenges you have in your communication style or your preferences that you've seen come up amongst your team?
I'm very quick to respond in emails, uh,
Okay.
and some of my team isn't, and that's
Okay.
okay. That's
Hmm.
not how the best way to communicate with them. So
Okay.
we've been able to, over the past year, take a step back. We all learned what our communication style was, and I know certain team members that I really just need to call them real quick on Teams, go catch them in their office. And as the leader, I have to try to meet them wherever they are.
good. I love that you said that because oftentimes I talk to people and they say, "Well, as a leader, I need this." But I'm like, leadership is less about you and more
Right.
about them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's very great to hear somebody that had that mindset. So many times I talk to leaders and they're like, "Well, what about what I need?" I'm like, "But you don't take the position about you. It is
Right.
the position is about the people who follow." Does
Right.
that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. So, understanding, your field and behavioral health and things of that nature. Talk to me about not only from an internal aspect, but what does it mean to like lead the whole organization right now? What does it mean to be self-aware of like, hey, these are my limits. This is what my time is. This is how much time I have to invest in the people who follow me. But this is what I see the broader organization needs and the community that we need. Like, talk to me about how you navigate as a leader all of those components.
Well, first of all, boy, you gave me a lot to think about, but and I've been told this by other people. It's like I've been asked this more than once in my leadership career. How are you so calm?
Yeah,
Like all this is going on around you and you're calm.
yeah.
But I have to remain calm. We have a lot of things going on legislatively. We have
Yeah.
things operationally.
Mhm,
We have things just in the daily lives of our patients we're navigating. We
mhm,
do primary care and behavioral health, like you said, and there's a lot of things going on every day.
mhm,
And as a leader, I have to be able to stand up and say, okay, everybody take a breath.
mhm.
Let's, this is a stressful situation.
Yes.
And then sometimes it's even playing the conflict mediator. Like,
Mhm,
okay, everybody has a turn at the table. We're going to get to it because we don't always know every side to every story. And I don't know that either. I'm relying
mhm,
on my staff to give me the information that I need. I can't possibly go out and collect all the information myself.
mhm. Yeah.
Um, and then I think it's also important that sometimes someone's perception,
Mhm.
you may think, well, that's not right, but it is still their perception. How
Yes.
someone perceives something may not be right, but it's still their perception.
Yes, that's good. That takes a mature leader that is confident in who they are.
Mhm,
So your identity as a leader, right,
mhm.
gives you this level of confidence. I really appreciate that you have a humor side to you as well. That a little bit, I spent a little bit over a year with your team in various settings, and then we did an all employee, which was, you have great opportunity and you introduce that fun humor part. Why is that so important to you as part of your leadership identity?
I think it shows that we're all human.
Yeah.
We're we all have personal personal lives. We all have, and if you want your team engaged,
Yeah.
a true leader can't stand up and be a dictator. They can't
Mhm.
they can't stand up. Yes, you have to provide direction, um, but you have to engage employees. Show them that even through the struggles, laughter. I mean, they say laughter is the best medicine. It truly is sometimes.
Yes, yes. One thing I appreciated about you is you took time. Like we scheduled multiple sessions throughout the year. Then we came back last year. And last year for your all employee, the what was it called? The session was called Handle Hard Better. Is that what it
Uh-huh.
was?
Yeah.
Handle Hard Better. What's the theme for this year? What's the theme for 2026?
We've talked a little bit. I'm gonna look at my board up here because I have some things written on my
Yes.
whiteboard.
Uh-huh.
My personal theme for 2026 is access. And
Access.
access in a lot of different ways.
Okay.
So making sure our patients can access our services.
Yes.
But if I want patients to access our services, I have to get employees engaged.
Yeah.
And we have to create a sense of urgency. And I'm
Mhm.
not talking about seeing patients as fast as you can. I'm not talking about
Yes.
that. It's creating a sense of urgency that I can take an extra few minutes, I can take an extra step, and kind of putting yourself in the shoes of a patient.
Yes.
Anybody who's worked for me for any amount of time knows I have a firm belief that if someone's in our building to be seen, we're going to see them.
Good.
Doesn't matter. Someone's going to touch base with that person because
Mhm.
they chose at that time to receive care. So right here on my board, I have 2026 equals access. That's what I have.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Talk to other leaders, C-suite leaders, CEOs, high performing professionals about the need to have a break and make time for professional development. I mean, like I said, I saw you guys multiple sessions last year over the year, and you are busy. Like healthcare is busy,
hmm
behavioral health is busy,
hmm
but you made it a priority to make sure your leaders were equipped, to make sure there was a level of self evaluation and they received tools and things of that nature so they could be intentional. Talk to other leaders about the importance of making space for professional development as individuals and as teams.
We've done some training and some reading. We've been reading, we read a book together last year. And
Mhm.
in that book, it talked about you can either hire easy and manage tough or
Yeah,
hire tough and manage easy.
yeah,
And when you do those when you do some development classes, you learn like time is valuable. You're never going
yeah,
to get your time back again.
right.
But if I can put those leadership tools in place,
Yes.
managing people takes time. We all know that.
Mhm,
But if I can put those tools in place to free up some of my time of managing individual people
mhm.
and then managing I mean, as a CEO, I'm looking at the vision. I'm responsible for the
Yes,
vision and
yes.
where are we going to be at in 5 years? Where
Mhm,
how do we still be here in 10 years?
mhm.
But when you're and some people anybody who watches is going to know dress code, I
Yeah,
do not want to talk about dress code,
yeah.
but you can waste a lot of time talking about dress code.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
when you learn those leadership skills that you hold people accountable and your
Yes.
team knows they're going to be held accountable
Mhm.
and you learn how to manage conflict
Yes.
and you learn those communication skills to get the right people on your team,
Mhm.
it's well worth the investment. It's worth every hour of investment you put into it.
Yes.
I mean, I have all those tools that you gave us last year
Mhm.
and done some other leadership things. And about once a month, I pull them out and just review them, just
Yes.
review a section and just, oh, yep,
Mhm.
I need to be more. It kind of keeps your self awareness up
Yes.
on at the forefront.
Mhm.
And I mean, I keep the book on my desk all the time.
Yes. I often say it works if you work it. You
Right.
know, you go to these sessions and you do
hmm
this work. It works if you work it. And
hmm
one thing I like to tell people about assessments is they're not there to label you. They are there to tell you how you're showing up currently and to give you ideas on, things you want to work on. Like,
Right.
so talk to me about the value of assessment and why it's important sometimes to use different data points to let people know how others are experiencing them and for to raise your own level of self-awareness as a leader.
hmm we did some. Well, we did a lot of assessments when you were here. Some on
Mhm.
personality, some on management style.
Yeah.
It really brought it to the forefront when I was a manager of a certain group of people and they got a new manager and we were on opposite ends
Okay.
of the spectrum. I mean, we could
Mhm.
not be more opposite. And so neither one of our styles is wrong,
Right.
but when you have a group of employees that are used to someone providing them very detailed step by step, this is where we're going, to
Mhm.
someone else who gives them a lot, free liberty of doing things and not that
Mhm.
direction, it really affects employees in
Yes.
that way too. But as a leader, it made us step back. And when
Mhm.
you put it into groups, you're like, yeah, I really like this person, but look over there. Not that they're wrong, it's just
Mhm.
completely different.
Mhm.
Um, we had done an assessment once that had if we are thinkers or feelers.
Okay.
It's that assessment.
Mhm.
Um, and who leads with their heart and who leads with their head. And
Mhm.
it really does make an impact on how you lead people, um, and who's making a decision based on logic, who's making a
Mhm.
decision based on their feelings,
Mhm.
who needs to look at something twice, who can act faster,
Mhm.
just those type of things. But any of those assessments, we've learned a lot from each other.
That's good.
It's been kind of like a light bulb moment sometimes. You're
Mhm.
like, oh, that's why you are the way you are in a leadership
Yeah.
meeting. Not that it's wrong, but it's
Right.
different.
Yes. And that takes some of the personal daggers out of it,
It
right?
does.
Because,
Yeah.
because then that's what it really is about. A large part of the time, the behavior we see from interacting with one another, especially in the workplace, is really less about the other person. It's more about the stories we're telling ourselves in our head, right?
Right.
And when we don't know the people we're working with, we always make up the worst case scenario
Mhm.
about that person. So tell me some of the things that you're constantly doing, even though your work environment is ever going, you're meeting needs and you're granting access to your patients. Tell me about some of the things you do internally, culture wise, that keep the doors open for people to not only have access and give patients access, but as peers and employees access to one another to get to know one another so they can are telling the right stories about the interactions that they're having.
Organizational wide on how we try to team people
Yes.
together, build a
Mhm.
cohesive team. Just last week, I believe it was just last week, I did a town hall for
Good.
everyone. But the purpose of the town hall was, I mean, I started out with a bunch of things going on at the state level and the federal level and organizational level. And I said,
Mhm.
this isn't usually the way you want to start somewhere, but I'm
Right.
going to end up, but I want to tell you the why behind what we're doing.
Yes.
Because if you don't tell people the why, then they're just not going to engage with you, and they're going to take it. It's more like a dagger. They're going to take it more
Mhm.
personal that I'm
Mhm.
coming directly after them, when no, it's really so that we can fulfill what we're supposed to be doing.
Mhm. That's good.
It really comes back to those, have a personal conversation. If you're
Mhm.
having a problem, don't put it in an email.
Yeah.
Don't text it. We've all read tones in
Yeah.
emails. You read tones in text. And I tell people, if I'm really busy, you might get an okay from me in an email. It
Right.
might be shorter.
Yes.
That doesn't mean I'm upset. It's just I'm
Right.
busy and it's a short reply.
Mhm. And that's the importance of getting to know each other because
Correct.
in those moments you can grant grace. You can be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, let me grant grace. This that's not me.
Yes.
She's busy right now." And it makes the
Yes.
workplace culture so much more
Mhm.
feasible, and it's really, the interactions are so much more pleasant. It's not going to ever be perfect because no culture is perfect,
Right.
right? No culture is perfect. Talk to me about non-negotiables, like you as a leader. I know you talked about, listen, don't talk to me about dress code now. Like, if you want to see me upset, talk to me about dress codes. What are some of your non-negotiables as a leader, as a CEO leading an organization, and those expectations you are setting for the people that follow you? What are some of your non-negotiables in the workspace?
Respect.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if we're on different. It doesn't matter if two people are on differing sides
Mhm.
of opinions, process, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Respect. We have to respect each other. I told someone yesterday that it really doesn't matter. The one thing that matters the most of anything is how we treat people.
Mhm.
That's it. And
Mhm.
it's kind of like how you treat people. End of story. That's it. And
Mhm.
so if you want to, I, I just don't. I'm just not going to put up with bullying tactics.
Okay. Mhm.
Meetings after meetings, meetings before
Yes.
meetings. All
Yes.
that leads to a huge lack of trust. And if
Yes.
you can't trust your colleagues and you can't trust your team members, then your organization is not going to go forward.
Yes. So tell me how you handle that. Say somebody does have a meeting before the meeting or a meeting after the meeting, and then they have to meet with you. Then they have the real meeting with you.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you as a leader? How do you handle that?
I have had people come to me and I know that they've had other conversations because when they come
Mhm.
to me and the next person comes to me, it's like, wait a minute, people know too much stuff,
Yeah.
like for there
Yeah.
not to be conversations before that. If it's a disagreement between two leaders, I say, you got to go back to the other person. You have to try to work this out.
Good.
I can be a mediator if you need me to, but
Mhm.
I'm not taking sides. We're going to
Mhm.
listen to both. And I've been in situations before when my leader at a previous job made a decision that maybe it wasn't and maybe it wasn't one that I really liked,
Mhm.
but it was for the best of the organization.
Mhm.
And that's what you have to do in leadership. You have to do what's best for the organization.
Mhm.
You got to take those personal out of it. But I always encourage people, you have to talk to resolve the conflict. I can resolve the conflict. I can sit in here in my chair all day and resolve conflicts. But if I resolve it, both parties are still going to be mad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just made the decision.
Mhm.
That's all I made. We didn't resolve the personal conflicts
Mhm.
to be able to work together and move forward.
Yeah. And in situations like that, you're not growing the professional. You're not
Right.
growing, that level of leader. So we know, okay, we know you're CEO and a leader, all
Mhm.
that. I personally also know that you're a mom and a wife.
Yes.
How do you balance the professional world of and the demands of healthcare, right? With the other roles that you play, because you're not only a leader and CEO there, but a mom and a wife, that's also leadership, right?
Yep.
So for somebody in your role, how do you handle balancing the demands of healthcare in such a pivotal time frame right now, as well as being wife and mom?
Well, I am a little fortunate. My kids are both out of the house, and I'm not doing home-based learning this week. If we're on snow delays everywhere, so that has been a good thing.
Yes.
Over the past 18 months, I
Hmm.
have learned a lot about taking time off, just
Okay.
and recharging
Hmm.
and being present for my family.
Hmm.
Um, I've done some readings, and when it all comes down to it, and Lena, I will share something you had posted a couple months ago about how we're not a family at work,
Yeah.
um, because families give grace,
Yes.
they give passes, they forgive,
Hmm.
and at the end of the day, it's your family who's there for you,
Hmm.
and so I need to be there for them
Yes.
when I'm there, and when I'm
Mhm,
off work, I need to be off work, and that's setting a
mhm.
good example for my own children.
Yes.
It also sets a good example for the people that report to me
Mhm.
because I don't expect them to be on the clock when they're on vacation or
Yes.
constantly checking emails. So if
Mhm.
I need to set that example. Not that
Yes.
I'm not available if something catastrophic happens, of course you can
Right.
contact me, but
Right.
anything else needs to wait until the following week when you get back.
Yes.
Um I mean there You started this off by saying there's a price to pay in leadership, and there is sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to know that you're paying a price with a little bit of your personal life when you go into
Mhm.
leadership. That's just the
Yep.
way it is. I also will say that both of my children are very successful, and I think they saw us being leaders and they knew what our work ethic was.
Mhm.
That when you're at work, you work hard, you do your best, and I'm pretty proud of that.
That's good. That's good. Yes. And what you're referring to is I often go into to companies and they're like, "We're a family here," and I'm like, "Please stop saying the word
Right,
family," because
right,
cognitively, like we say, families generally don't hold each other accountable.
right.
There's
No.
great grace. People are saying things they shouldn't, showing out and acting ways they shouldn't, and we just kind of turn the eye. But at work, we still want the camaraderie, the connectedness.
Right.
But the word I usually encourage people to use is team
Hmm.
because everybody on a team has a role, everybody knows what's expected of
Yes.
them, and everybody is expected to perform.
Mhm.
Families, like I say, usually, Uncle Bill is down there at the Sunday dinner and he's saying things he shouldn't say, and everybody
Right.
just keeps shoving the corn in their mouth and be like, we just gonna act like it didn't happen.
Right.
So cognitively, yes, the brain needs to shift from family to team at work. Speaking about leadership and legacy, what is your leadership legacy you want to leave and the imprint you want to leave at family health centers? What is that?
Well, I am kind of fortunate. I've been here since the very beginning.
Okay.
So, Family Health Center started in May of 2018, and I came May 21st of 2018. So, I did miss the first 3 weeks, but I've been here from the very beginning.
Okay.
And I always tell people we had 10 employees that first time, that very first month. We saw 200 patients.
Hmm.
Now we're seeing, we have 250 employees. We did
Okay.
over 65,000 visits last year.
Oh, good.
But I would like to know at the end of that, numbers are only numbers. I would like for employees to know that I was someone that they could come and talk to.
Hmm.
I was someone that listened,
Hmm.
um, and really always took the best interest of employees and the organization.
Yeah.
I During new hire orientation, I always tell employees that, look, I'm a nurse by training, and when I
Hmm.
went to nursing school, I was taught that patients number one priority, whatever. And it is. As a nurse
Hmm.
and you have a group of patients, your patients are your number one priority. As the CEO, my number one priority is employees.
Yeah.
Because if I don't have employees to do the work's not going to get done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thinking about that leadership and legacy and imprint, are there any favorite quotes you have around leadership? Any go to statements that stick out to you? Hmm.
Um, I said it earlier though, work hard and do your best.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. What are some of the things this year as a leader and you look at your team that you say, these are the things I will deposit in them? What are some of those things?
I think I could teach them to instill in them that independent work, not that they rely on me for a lot, but they ask me a lot of, check this over. Does this look okay? It really just go for it. I'm I don't have to do that anymore. So,
Yeah.
uh, and part of that's myself. Now I got to come back to that controlling delegation thing. Part of that's been
Yeah.
myself, and can really continuing to build those interpersonal connections,
Hmm.
relationships,
Yes.
and putting our mission, our just put it at the forefront. If
Hmm.
it fits because that's what we're all striving
Yes.
for.
Hmm.
And not necessarily to bring patients back into it, but really that's what we're here to serve. We're
Yeah.
here to serve our community and our patients. So sometimes you have to put those, and just for my team to know, just put your personal views aside. Sometimes put your personal opinion aside. And sometimes we all have to say, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of your side of the story, and
Hmm.
apologize.
Yeah. Oh, that is very key, right? Sometimes, and that's more of that leadership, servant leadership style, right?
Mhm.
I'm here to serve you. But all that goes back to having a strong identity. If you know who
Mhm.
you are as a leader, you're less threatened when you have to make some form of adjustments for other people. And so when I say that, I'm not asking people to change who they are. But confident leaders know this about themselves. Like, before I can lead anybody, this is what I need to know about myself. I am
Mhm.
confident in this. So then you're not threatened when somebody says, can you make this concession for me?
Right.
You're like, yeah, I can do that. And I think that happens the higher up you go. I don't want to minimize it just to promotion, but you're a CEO of an organization. Like, the buck stops with you
Right.
for the most part. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And that's a different level of responsibility and a different level of integrity that comes along with that. So knowing who you are, and even more so knowing who you are not, right, is
Mhm.
very key for someone who sits in that seat.
Mhm.
So if you had to share any advice with CEOs, peer to peer CEOs leading in 2026 from a very transparent, authentic point of view, what would be a message that you would share with them for 2026 about their leadership impact and what is needed in today's climate?
First of all, I think I would tell them to make sure you take time for yourself.
Mhm.
Take that time because in order to be an effective leader, and it's only getting harder. Let's face it, every
Yes.
year's harder than the year before. We have more challenges now than we've had in the past 30 years. When I look back
Okay.
at those first few years of leadership that I thought was hard, it was really easy. I mean, we didn't have all those struggles. We were still
Yeah.
using typewriters and carbon paper. I mean, it just wasn't that difficult to do
Right.
things. We were still going to the mailbox and getting our mail. So
Yeah.
I just dated myself too. But first and foremost, in order to fill your employees and meet their expectations and meet their needs, you have to make sure that you're not draining yourself.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you have to take a step back, if you have to, it might be 15 minutes, it might be an hour, it might be a day, it might be a week, whatever that
Mhm.
is, you
Mhm.
have to do that. And then workforce is always a challenge.
Mhm.
And, and I said employees is my number one priority. It has to
Mhm.
be.
Mhm.
And so you have to make sure that above all else, you're empowering yourself and empowering your leadership teams
Mhm.
to hire the right people. And when you get them, retain them.
Yes.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. We
Mhm.
have a lot of competitors and a lot of competing things that market to our
Mhm.
employees. But
Mhm.
if you take care of your employees, they're going to take care of you.
Yeah.
If you're there for employees, they're there for you.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that. Tell me a few things that have been challenging to retain them. What are some of the obstacles to retaining employees in your space currently?
Sometimes they get enticed by the grass looks greener on the other side.
Okay.
Now, I will tell you that we've had a handful of employees return to us. They've left
Okay.
for the grass is greener, and
Yes.
within about 6 months, they're back saying, "Do you have a job? I would like to come back."
Okay.
Um, some of it, relocation, just some
Yeah.
various reasons, back to school.
Yes.
Um, just we don't really have we haven't had any huge trends
Mhm.
of what's happened. We have had some feedback on, just to be very transparent, on some employees didn't feel like they got the proper training.
Okay.
So we have some initiatives that we're going to be putting into place to make sure on that. And once again, kind of comes back to that perception reality. We're like, really? We feel like we have good training. Well, when more than one person says you don't, and they're
Yes.
in this same classification of employees,
Yes.
the way we're training them must not be how we need to train them for them to feel adequately trained. So at
Yes.
that point, we have to take a step back and not just say, well, we already have training guides. They're just not listening. That's
Mhm.
not effective. We have to say, okay, wait a minute. Let's redesign this
Mhm.
a little bit and maybe use some more keywords and just a different method of training
Yes. That's
that
good. And that comes from you listening and truly having a heart for the
mhm,
employee. Your behaviors are matching up with the words.
mhm,
So,
right,
because you could say, now we're doing a great training. Like
right.
that's a lack of self-awareness right there.
Yes, yes.
And that's a little bit of ego and things of that nature. But that's a thing I really do appreciate about you. And that's like, I don't just invite anybody to be on here. I thought about you. You were one of the first people I thought about because I was like, I like her integrity. I like that you're no nonsense. I
Right,
like that you're like, but you still had that fun part around. And I think that is what is so key in today's workplace. People want real, transparent, authentic leaders, but they want people that's going to help them get things done
right.
and people that's going to help hold them accountable. Because when it's all said and done, the workplace is different now, day and time, and
Mhm,
people are looking for impact, not just to clock in, clock out. I think that is something that you offer, and that is something that I admire in you. And so I have been so pleased to have this conversation with you. I'm super excited for 2026 and what
yeah,
that means for Family Health Center. I loved working with you, and I will tell you, like one thing I love about entrepreneurship is I get to pick my clients. I get to pick them.
Yep.
Clients can reach out to me. I get to say yes or no. And I have been so pleased to work with you and your leadership team. So I am just wishing you all the best in 2026. And to make sure you continue to get the rest you need balanced with the impact that you're going for as you're given access to your people. Any final words for our viewers?
I don't think so. I appreciate spending some time with you today.
All right. Thank you. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you.